What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, bringing you that Endymion deck profile. Feel pretty good about where this is at, and I will go card by card. And at the end, I also have a little bit of bonus gameplay video, just because. So starting off, I do have just two of the Endymion. It's searchable through a myriad of different ways. So if you draw it, great, but it's not something super important. But it is a scale 8, so it ends up being pretty good in the end. Two of the Mythical Beast Jackal Kings. This card is also pretty easy to get to your hand with cards like Magical Abductor. So this is just a monster negate that's always going to be on the field. Super good. Don't run the Mythical Beast package. If you guys are wondering, I think it's a little bricky, at least in my experience. So I'm happy with these little ratios here. Alright, obviously I have the Oath Dragon and the Dragon Pit Magician. Just super good cards that pair with Pendulum Call. 3 Chronograph Sorcerer, which is just awesome if you open up a way to get Servant of Endymion to your hand, because it's just a free spell activation, and the zone is going to end up being freed anyways. And if they ash it, it's fine too, because it's a scale 8, so it works out. And then Time Gazer Magician, of course. Black Fang and Purple Poison, these are actually decent battle based traps that also pair with Pendulum Call. They're rank 4s, which is probably a little more important. And Purple Poison gets me out of a lot of sticky situations, and I think you'll actually see that in one of the gameplay videos. And this is a scale 8, and it has a decent effect. Alright, to the Harmonizings, you search it out so many different ways. Like, it's more important to have maybe a different spell to activate than another copy of Harmonizing. At least that's my idea behind it. Red Rose and White Rose Dragon, like these cards are super good extenders in Pendulum in my opinion. I basically feature them in all of them. The one Servant of Endymion, no reason this card shouldn't be at 3. It's kind of ridiculous. Magical Abductor, very good card. Searches any Pendulum monster. And obviously you can see there's lots of spells in this deck. I run 2 of the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, along with 1 Knowledge and Secrets. This is the ratio that works pretty well for me. You can search this card out and just keep those spells going, and also drawing 2 is very good. These are all once per turn, so it's like I used to have multiple copies, but if you have 2 in your hand and you end up drawing into them, it's just awful. Alright, Spell Power Control. This searches your Servant of Endymion. It's essentially another copy, or it searches, the Mighty Master of Magic. The 3 Duelist Alliance to go along with 3 Pendulum Call. This is obviously just really good for spell counters. Upstart Goblin's a free one, so is Into the Void. Magician's Right Hand, I told you guys I tech this card at 1. I think it's pretty cool there. Terraforming is a free spell activation to go into the Magical Citadel of Endymion, which is just a bunch of spell counters, but decent effect. You're not going to get rid of it most of the time unless I send it. It has a nice little destruction protection, and you do actually end up using it quite a bit. Alright, on to the extra deck. I have the Odd Eyes Vortex and the Invoke Kaliga. If you guys are wondering what the hell this is all about, you can watch my gameplay video, the first one I did, but Muddy Mud Dragon, very easily able to go into it when you bring back your White Rose and your Red Rose. You can actually fusion summon, so your opponent can only activate 1 monster effect per turn, and you probably have more negates even if they do get past it. Shen Shen pairs pretty well with a couple of the cards in the deck, so I definitely tech it in there. Cyberse Quantum Dragon is just non-targeting removal. It's like really easy access to it, obviously at any time. Meteor Burst Dragon to, most of the time special summon this Dragon Pit Magician to go into the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. F8 on Dragster. Muddy Mud Dragon, like I just talked about. Excess Code Talker is super important in this deck, in my opinion. Apollosa, the Selene. I only need 1 copy of this. I've never needed multiple. Christian Holly Fibrax. Sometimes if you have like a really good opening, you can, before you Pendulum Summon, go into Crowley, draw 2 cards, or even just have these zones available. It's pretty decent. IP Masquerena, and the Cross Sheep. So Cross Sheep is going to help you bring back this White Rose for that combo I just talked about. Not a lot of room for going second cards. Most of them are spells for me. I guess the best idea is that, like, if you were to activate Servant of Endymion and they were trying to negate with something like Makaba, you're going to get a spell counter and the negate. Like, that's why I do that. Same idea here with Cosmic, and this is like desperate situations, Dark Ruler No More, Lightning Storm, the Winged Dragon of Raw Spear Mode, all that stuff, since you can, Pendulum Summon. So yeah, that was the deck profile. Let's go ahead and go into just a few replays, and then there's like 4. Here's Cosmos. So obviously this is an incredible open. I'm going to be able to activate the Spell Power Mastery, and there's the scale, like I just talked about in the deck profile. It's like I planned this or something. Pendulum Call, so I'm obviously going to get that third activation at some point. And it's pretty cool. You can activate that after you make your plays, and you Pendulum Summon, of course. Probably end up using all my zones here. But this does look like full combo, if I'm not mistaken. Alright. Here comes the White Rose. There goes the Odd-Eyes Absolute. I can go to IP Masquerena to go into the Vortex in an Appaloosa. And, I didn't use the Serpent of Endymion just quite yet, so 4-mana Appaloosa, Spell and Trap Negate, and the Odd-Eyes Vortex. Alright, there goes Soul Absorption, and definitely am going to negate that. Now I can use this as a scale again, which is pretty neat, I suppose. And, yeah, that was literally it, so pretty cool. Let's go into this Ancient Gear. There's a couple of really good replays in here, actually. Cards like Urgent Schedule, of course, are very good. Spellbook, like this is just guarantees you have 3 counters on your cards as long as they don't get ashed, of course. Plus you get to draw 2 in the process. So of course this card is pretty darn good. I actually want to keep my scales open, so I'm trying to protect myself from the Nibiru in this combo. So obviously if he had it, it would be dead at this point with all the spell counters on the board. Alright, we can go ahead and Pendulum Summon here. Let's see what I grab with Harmonizing. A Purple Poison, sure, not bad. And I can go into the White Rose and go into a Selene, and I'll probably, use the Selene and go into an Appaloosa. So I think I've shown it's so many different end boards, and they all are different, depends on what you get. I don't know if I would have chained that well, I guess you can't chain it correctly at all. I'm definitely not going to let you get 2 free special summons from monsters. That's not going to work for me. He's going to go for basically the battle phase. He doesn't have access to fusion. He has instant fusion, but I think he needs the regular. I'm not going to let him search it, of course. So I have the Mythical Beast there. And I'm just going to be able to Pendulum Summon this again, obviously, during next turn. And he does try to destroy my Pendulum Zones, but I did activate the Pendulum Call, which is pretty neat. So here comes my monster negate back on the board. A bunch of monsters. And this is kind of the point of all of these replays is you're just going to be able to out-resource your opponent because Pendulum Summoning is super duper nuts. And that's about what it comes down to. I mean, your opponent it's going to be very hard for them to outgrind you as long as you have Pendulum Zones, which, your opponent is definitely going to try to stop that from happening, but easier said than done in a lot of cases. Look at all these going second cards this guy has. I don't know why he would elect to go first and have all these cards, but that's okay. Alright, so I got rid of the Super Poly and the Eternal Soul. It definitely is going to put in some work, but he has a Nibiru. I'm sure he will be using it pretty soon here. And this is more like regular Pendulum Magician stuff. I didn't draw into any of my Endymion cards until now, but now it's just a little too late. So I guess I can get, even the Mighty Master, there's no spell counters on the board, so it's a little rough for sure. And it can't gain spell counters unless it's under that special condition. Okay, so I'm going to add that back for my Pendulum Summon for next turn. That'll be okay. The Rod comes down, and he Gamma Seals. I don't even remember what that card was, I guess. Okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, here we go. I mean, top deck of the spell book is going to give me 2 rank 7s. I'll probably actually go into the Odd-Eyes XYZ monster, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm going to Cross Sheep. Bring this back. I'm going to actually bounce this Nibiru back to his hand for the immediate negate because I'm sure he's going to try to use it. And I kind of calculated that. I was just trying to go for game, right? So I just had him checkmated. I guess that's the way I think about it. Alright, there goes the access code for the 3. I mean, this card just finishes all your games for you because you're able to go into it so easily. Like basically every single duel. Alright, here's Invoke Dark Magician, I'm pretty sure I was playing. It was wild. It's using the gold rare art of Alistair the Invoker too. It's pretty neat. Alright, so this, of course, I'm going to have more than enough spell counters to work with here. Alright, there goes the Purple Poison Magician. It's not really a great hand, to be honest with you, although I am going to be able to search something. Yeah, maybe you search the Mythical Beast, I'm not sure. But I'm going to essentially go into some monster gates, I'm assuming, at some point here. Yeah, with a Vortex. So maybe the Spell and Trap is kind of the correct choice. And I can go into Cross Sheep. I mean, I messed up my zone, so it's just bad play by me. You just got to be careful. I like to show replays like this where I make stupid plays like that because I think it can make a difference. You know, if someone like tells you like to pay attention to these things, maybe it'll help you that one time you're dueling and you're like, well, I'm glad I listened. Something like that. Top deck of Spellbook of Prophecies. Pretty ridiculous, although I think I already used, nope, I didn't use Spellbook yet, so. And then I can use, you know, get another Endymion to my hand. I can get the other, basically, scale that I need for the most part. I end up using the Mighty Master as a scale, which is pretty cool. He does have the Solemn Strike. That is city right there. But he's only got 2,200 life points. He's got to top deck something really nice because I do have that Spell and Trap Negate. Considering he didn't have really anything else, I'm like, all right, Internal Soul is fine. And there goes the Invocation. There goes the Endymion. I'm going to bounce that back to my hand. And I could pitch it later. Whatever I draw off the top, it was going to be a Duelist Alliance. So I'll probably pitch the Pendulum Call with that. But if it was like a good Pendulum monster, I can, you know, just pitch the Abductor or something like that. And this is the best duel I can show you guys when it comes to grind game. This guy's got a good Floodgate. It is Slight for the Sky Dragon. I don't run anything like Infinite and Permanent, so I'm going to have to get pretty creative when it comes to getting rid of this card. We'll see where I end up going. Probably going to play a lot of just kind of defensive, force him to attack over me, because he's only going to be limited to one monster a lot of the times now. Okay, there we go. And I think I end up forcing the Spellbook of Knowledge, but because it doesn't get sent to the graveyard, I do not draw 2 cards. But I do get that all-important 3 counters to this card. And here we go. I'm probably going to just pass the turn. I want to dig as far into my deck as possible, because in my mind, the only out that I have is Purple Poison. Alright, so it's pretty cool. I have a spell counter here, actually. Can't normal summon this Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, unfortunately. Because that would be destroyed immediately by the Slifer, meaning I couldn't use any of the effects. Plus, I've already gone through the loop here, or at least the Spellbook of Knowledge I've used. Alright, we're going to keep going here. I got another Metal Reflex Slime. And I go into the cyberse Quantum Dragon. I've been gassing this card up, and I do believe it's gas. Tries to hand trap it, so I can't start, you know, flipping these back into the extra deck, which is just amazing. He's probably going to go into, you know, another one, but that's okay. There's no floating effect either, which is pretty important. I have the Monster Negate, which is great, plus the cyberse Quantum. I think he ends up going into a Sphere mode, so again, he's kind of got it all going for him. Like one of my main priorities, since I know he's playing Egyptian Gods, is to, you know, get this Sphere mode off of the board, probably through a Link Summon. The IP, so I like literally just do anything that I can. I'm going to play a little bit of defense, because if he attacks into this, I'm going to destroy it, of course. So now it's just his Slifer hanging out there. That was 3,000 life points taken away, but, you know, it's definitely not that much. I want that Spell and Trap Negate, because once I get this off the board, I'm sure he's going to be using his Numeron Network. I can start technically getting my combos. I can put some spell counters on the board, which I guess is probably the most important thing. Alright, and yeah, there we go. That's going to go ahead and be negated. And since you already tried to activate Numeron Network, that is it. That's a GG. So yeah, that was just a little more look at Endymions, but more importantly, that was a deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.